Social Studies, Chapter 11, To Declare Independence or Not. Key question: what were the arguments for and against colonial independence from Great Britain? And remember, Great Britain is just another name for England. Let's think about government. The laws under which you live and the services you may take for granted are provided by your government. What are some ways in which the federal, state, and local governments impact your everyday life? So I want you to pause the video and write down a list of things that you know that might affect you from federal, state, and local governments. You might or might not know a whole lot yet, but at least write down a couple of things. So here's a list I came up with of ways in which the federal, state, and local governments impact my life. So school funding comes from the government. These coronavirus shelter-in-place laws came from our state government. There are laws about wearing seatbelts and using car seats when you have little kids in the car. One thing that comes from our government is being able to buy food that's safe because it's been inspected. Another thing that comes from the government is our ability to play and hike in public parks. So let's say if you go to Ramsey Park, that's paid for by your city government. If you go to Yosemite National Park, that's paid by the federal government. The federal government just means the government for the whole country, and the state government would be anything just for the state of California. So another thing that federal and state governments and local governments take care of is giving us clean drinking water. We're dealing with the government when we are paying sales tax. So when I buy things, I pay a tax on it. Having police and fire departments for emergencies is a government function, and even having sidewalks to walk on and roads to drive on. So take a look at your list and at my list, and which of the items on the list do you like, and which do you not like? When you become an adult, do you know how you will be able to influence the laws that your government makes? There are even some ways that kids can get involved and influence the government even before you turn 18. So now I want you to look at your book on page 147. There's a T-chart with loyalists on one side and patriots on the other. In this chapter, you'll learn about 3 famous loyalists and 3 famous patriots. Who do you think the loyalists were? Loyalists were people who supported the British monarchy. Remember, British means the same thing as English. It means people who come from England. Monarchy means that a country is ruled by a king or a queen rather than a president or a Congress. So instead of having an elected leader, the king or the queen is born into power because of the family that they're in, and they inherit all of the wealth and the power that comes with that. Who do you think the patriots were? Patriots were people who wanted the colonies to become independent from Great Britain. So in the last chapter when we were reading about the Boston Tea Party, that was a group of people who wanted to become independent from Great Britain. So now you're going to read the introduction on page 147 of your social studies textbook, and also read 148, even though it doesn't say it on the screen here. If you did not bring your textbook home, you can watch the video of me reading the introduction aloud that I put on your Google Classroom. On a piece of binder paper, I want you to draw a T-chart like this. So on one side, you're going to have loyalists. On the other side, you're going to have patriots. And you'll use this T-chart to organize 6 colonists' views on independence. You'll go ahead and read pages 149 to 151, and you'll write down important beliefs that Thomas Hutchinson, Jonathan Boucher, and Lord Dunmore had on the loyalist side of the chart. And I'll give you another assignment tomorrow, but just as a preview of what we're going to be doing, once everybody's done reading all of the pages from 147 to 154 and taking notes, we're going to divide your Zoom class into 2 teams. One team will be the loyalists and one will be the patriots. And you guys are going to take on characters from the book. So each presenter will have 1 minute to present an argument to the class, pretending to be one of the historical figures that they read about in the book. And then someone from the other team will have 30 seconds to respond or make a counter argument. At the end of the debates, we'll vote as a class about which side presented the strongest arguments. So I'll give you more information on that tomorrow, but I want you to take a look around your house and see if you have any costumes and props that might help you dress up as one of these characters. So I'm just going to put it back on this question. What do you think? I'm sorry, who do you think the Patriots were? You're going to go ahead and read the introduction on page 147 of your social studies textbook. And then on the binder paper, you're going to draw the T chart for loyalists and patriots. And you're only going to read today pages 149 to 151. And you're going to write down the important beliefs that Thomas Hutchinson, Jonathan Boucher, and Lord Dunmore had on the loyalist side of the chart.